keeping those 3-year plans, but then doing every year doing a business plan that is like a little bit more responsive, so to speak, on everything that is changing so fast in the world, so that we can really stay agile. And we go back to and refer to long-term planning, but doing it every year really keeps us honest on terms of our KPIs and things like that. And so in that business plan, you'll see, here's what we're working on first quarter, here's budget that's attached to it, that type of thing. So it's just a really good exercise for the tourism panel and my agency of record, Mission to Market, and myself, just so that we can stay really honest about, like, sort of like, if nothing else, making sure that we're keeping the momentum going that we want to. And in 2025, we are starting to see we're starting to reap the benefits of that, where a lot of the projections and a lot of the things we were really concerned about coming into the year, we're now working on and seeing positive results from, in terms of demand for lodging and just sort of business responsiveness and more consistent hours, more consistent messaging and marketing from some of our businesses who up until now didn't even have a website, things like that. So just trying to be the destination marketing organization, DMO, that we are supposed to be, so that we are providing value to our constituents, small business, community, etc. So these are our short-term goals, and this is TED, so it's a mix of tourism and economic development. Rachel has just come on, and so Rachel and I will be working to get a little bit more concrete on exactly what our economic development strategies can look like. So these are the ones that we have been focusing on, which do align more with, like, transportation as it pertains to tourism, and commercial lodging, which is obviously tourism, but it is also economic development. So we have been, we have brand new website, we have a bunch of brand new marketing channels that we're using, and we're just getting really consistent with our messaging across all the platforms. And it's starting to pay off a lot. Our web traffic in September of this year was up 68% from last year. Visitation is way up this fall, but since the beginning of the year, we have an increase in web traffic of 123% with our brand new website. The website itself is just extremely efficient when it comes, and has a massive backlog of content that provides a lot of value, and that's the easiest way to gain organic traffic. So, and our social engagement is up over 200% year over year, and that has a lot to do with the fact that we have a human who's, there's like 3 humans, Katie and Mission to Market, 2 people at Mission to Market, and we post 3 times a week, and there's really consistent messaging that goes through all of our social platforms. It's all based on themes. We have a really robust social calendar that feeds into our blog calendar. It is really responsive to local business input and local business collaboration. So we're really doing it. We're actually much, much more professional as a marketing organization than we were 3 years ago. So, and it's if you give the algorithm what it wants, which is consistent content and making sure that you're really responsive to things like comments. We do a lot of social listening and we respond to people right away. We hide comments that are hateful or otherwise unimportant, and that stuff gets rewarded. So that's all been really successful. We are going to conduct resident business and visitor sentiment surveys this year in 2026. Last time we did this was 23. Need to do it every 2 to 3 years. And it will allow us to really understand not only who we already capture, but who we're not capturing and why. And so that we'll have a lot of really detailed questions about lodging, for instance, like, why are people not coming? If there was this type of lodging opportunity, would you be more interested? Like, everything that can help build the case for, or not build the case, or work against the case for commercial lodging. For example, but also just understanding seasonality and what people are most interested in. And we are going to go after a grant through the Colorado Tourism Office to do this, because we can get 100 hours of somebody who can actually just really focus on this, and specifically the visitor survey, that's a really useful tool because there are a ton of different avenues, including Reddit and Meta products and Google, to be able to reach out to lookalikes. So those are people who look a lot like the people who come to visit you, but they're not the same people. And you can, there's a number of different ways to incentivize them filling out these surveys. So they can, everything from like win a Melly to visit Leadville, like one of our merchandise, if you fill out a survey. And if you do this through Meta products, for instance, the average response rate is like 25%, which is shocking to me. So we could end up with like 300 to 500 Meta lookalike visitor surveys, which would be super helpful. And we've never done anything like that. So I'm excited for that. We're leveraging data. We have a relationship with Datafy through the Colorado Tourism Office, and so in about 3 weeks, I'm gonna get a report. I got to look at it though, and it speaks really, puts a very good light on us, especially compared to our regional partners. Like when you compare us to the Vail Valley and Breckenridge and other partners, we're kind of an outlier in the state in terms of how well we're doing, in terms of visitation numbers, the success of ski joring, the train is going bananas this year. So there's some amazing assets and products that are really shining a bright light on us. We've got some incredible PR in the past year that just continues. So we have Scary Mommy coming, Travel and Leisure, Afar. These are like really big names and they're all coming and we're hosting them and Katie's doing an incredible job. 2 members of our tourism panel are taking the Scary Mommy editor out to dinner on Saturday, Stuart and Rebecca Thomas, Stuart Franco. So just super grateful for the collaboration within our team and with the Colorado Tourism Office. They're really singing our praises.
What's Scary Mommy? Feel like I've heard of this before.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. In the parenting world, it's like a blog. It's a blog and a this and a that has like a huge social presence.
With millions of followers.
Yeah, Scary Mommy, it's basically for parents, like, you know, the overworked, underappreciated millennial parent that is teaching their kids how to do electrical work. But it's like a resource for them to learn about travel and everything. So, but yeah, the point is with data, we have Mike Cowart is on the tourism panel, or he's a prospective member who will most likely join in January, but he's been volunteering his time because he's an AI data analyst and specialist and salesperson. And so he's been leveraging Placer AI and Datafy to get some really deep insights into like demographic and psychographic information around like exactly what neighborhoods within Dallas-Fort Worth and Minneapolis. And Minneapolis, they spend an average of $154 per day here. They're one of the highest expenditures per day. And this is all like really granular information that we never really had before, that we now have, and we can now really make some pretty targeted marketing decisions. So, and then boosting visitation on the off-peak, for off-peak seasons and off-peak events. We are seeing in the summer, we tried campaigns like the Beat the Heat at 10,000 feet, and that was extremely successful and actually got us coverage in New York Times Travel. But we are also now leaning into things like JOMO, which is Joy of Missing Out, and it's kind of a buzz term right now for people who are looking to unplug. And so we've been leaning into that with quiet and cozy experiences because 95% of the outdoor traveler, they don't want to do the hardcore extreme stuff. So we're actually coming up with a whole list of campaigns and ways to talk about Lake County that are less like, let go 100.
I was gonna say, I've been wondering the flip side of like the 2000s actions for like, you know, oh, we wanna catch huge airs, like the stuff that I was tuned in on coming up. Now, like, where's the flip side of that? So that's this JOMO right here.
Yep. And so, yeah, we like, cause we have on another level, so we have like coziness on another level. And like tranquility on it, like we have all these other things that are sort of.
How to go glamping and.
Yeah,
that
exactly. Yep, and this all comes from the Outdoor Industry Association put out this huge report that's kind of been rocking the industry. The outdoor industry is a $3.2 billion industry, and it's one of the only industries without a lobbying arm, right? So every other industry that you can think of that's in the billions like that has some sort of lobbying arm in Washington, but other than Protect Our Winters and organizations like that, outdoor industry doesn't. And so the outdoor industry tends to be nebulous and move kind of however it wants. And so 95%, which is down about 10% over the past decade, 95% of the industry considers itself more of this leisurely outdoor enthusiast. So less of what we call the core audience, the Halo product audience. So we need to talk to those folks because we never have. I mean, that is how it is.
Duh,
Those are
we've all been here the whole time.
I don't know, I feel like as we look at sales tax dropping off, there's a really cool opportunity as people are trying to have different types of experiences that are still awesome but don't cost a fortune.
Yep.
Is a really great place to focus and be able to like market to for people that really wanna unplug but enjoy like the nature around us, especially as people are like, well, they're not spending as much because they're worried about jobs or, whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's still a really awesome opportunity for us to have that viable.
Yeah, and we're really leaning into that with our with Ski Cooper this year, because they are gonna do $49 Monday through Friday, so the high value, that type of stuff. Champion expansion of transit services, so, again, continuing to try and work with partners like Ski Cooper and Twin Lakes to provide,
I mean, you could do a whole day, like Ski Cooper, super cheap, tie that into a Quincy's dinner.
Yep,
Which
yep.
is like, where else you gonna get a steak for that price, like
Exactly.
full steak there, you could just like put that whole package together and show it to people like this
For
would
sure.
cost you like $100.
Yeah,
Good
Okay.
packages,
yep,
Yeah.
I know,
they're a hoot, they're complicated,
yep, yeah, and that's
no
it.
lie.
You just need a lodging component.
Yep.
Excuse me.
But yeah, and we have lodging partners and restaurant partners that are open. Unfortunately, Ski Cooper's not interested in doing like a package thing with us, but that's okay. We could still market it that way.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that. And the new visitor center, so turning it into the hub. Yeah, again, in 2025, we hosted, I think it was like 11 events and senators, representatives, state agencies, nonprofits, community events, as well as like 100 race series events. And we did open up early for both of the hundreds this year. And that was super, even though poor Katie was up at 3 a.m., that was super helpful for families as well as myself, competitors who were like, I need the bathroom right now. And couldn't get to the porta potties, et cetera. So, yeah, those are our short-term goals. I'm trying to go quickly here. But long-term goals, highlight the impact that we're having. So with data, so we are doing these resident business sentiment surveys, but also we do a monthly newsletter now that Katie goes and actually brings to businesses, and that's been super responsive. It has data every month, and then it also has turned into a lot of conversation with businesses who then want to contribute back. So we're like getting videos and getting photos and getting assets where we weren't otherwise before, because in this community, like the face-to-face interaction is really helping them understand sort of how we can be more helpful. Especially because the website's doing so well, so it like really is a good place for folks. And it's also a good place for us to sort of fact check, like when are events happening, and we have a lot of instances of that where people will change an event and maybe not necessarily update the community calendar or something, and then we are all at a loss. Advocate, for the commercial lodging. Just trying on the commercial lodging piece. That's all I really have to say about that. And then achieve the 3%, so we set the goal of achieving a 3% increase in off-peak visitation, and we're up about 1.6% in 2025, and we don't see that going backsliding.
That's
Because,
awesome.
yeah, because we're really focused on it and we have really awesome products that we will continue to promote. And, you know, we're working with Cloud City Wheelers to create, not only to host Fat Bike Worlds, which actually had the highest attendance of Fat Bike Worlds when it came here in 24, yeah, 24. It's coming back again in 26. So that event brought the most people to Fat Bike Worlds, and we're now gonna integrate a sauna festival. We're partnering, Tourism Panel is partnering with Cloud City Wheelers to create a fat biking and sauna festival. So it's gonna be really fun. We have like 6 local and regional mobile saunas that are gonna be coming. We're gonna bring music and make it a 3-day event. So, again, all in the spirit of sort of having a major event every month in the winter. So having a January event, that'll be January, February is the low pit, and then March is ski jour. So,
Amazing.
and then, and again, we can track the process, we can track all of these things using Datafy as our primary source, cause that's tourism focused, but then also Placer AI, cause that can just track our foot traffic and things like that. And at destination, like we will set up a boundary around CMC, around the soccer field, and then be able to track the numbers from the last time Fat Bike World was here and then this time.
Our prime peak ice skating season at Twin Lakes is in shoulder season, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah, and we do
Yeah, it's like November.
Like late November.
Late November.
early December, yeah, and we do promote it,
Yeah,
but we have to be careful
it's
for
a dangerous one.
for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
The safety,
Sketchy.
the Forest Service really doesn't actually want us to do it, and then also the Misty Curtain,
Okay.
and Tenderfoot, they go out and plow it to actually like make it nice ice,
Oh, funny,
but they do that on their own.
yeah.
There's no officialness to it.
I always felt like the peak season's like when it first freezes before the first big snow. You get that window of time where it's like,
Where it's perfect ice.
yeah, it's just thick enough to hold you
Yep.
and
Cause then
it's so fast, it's like,
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
yeah, you can see right through the bottom,
But again, we have to be really careful about how we talk about that.
yeah.
And then, embed sustainable tourism practices through the Destination Stewardship Initiative. We host the Runners for Public Lands event. This will be the 3rd year we're doing it this year in 2026. So we bring 30 to 40, last year was almost 40 tourists from around the country. They come to our community and they give back. They stayed for 3 nights, and then they get to run some of the trails from the 100 and other trails that they wanna run, but then they volunteer with Friends of Lake County and then volunteer at C4 to learn about food access and actually help out at the farm. And that is an example of regenerative tourism. So this past year, they got an opportunity to go and get a behind the scenes tour of Melanzana and actually shop at the store without an appointment, so to speak. So that was an example of sort of like, you know, how they get a little bit of an insider's look at the community at that level, but then they also get to learn about food access and trails and all those types of things. And then expand awareness on opportunities for winter activities. Again, that's all in that vein of trying to continue to promote the winter. Cause yeah, the data is pretty remarkable that every single year, the day after Ski Cooper closes, our lodging, our overnight visitation falls off a cliff. And I continue to try and build relationships with Copper, but they, based on the CEO's relationship with the Summit County Chamber of Commerce, it continues to be a challenge. They're pretty, what's the word? They have a lot of allegiance to Summit County. They think of themselves as Summit County. So, but,
I mean, they are so.
stop it.
Most of their staff lives there.
Yeah, just say it, Geographically.
What about the place of-
Sales tax, yeah. Property tax.
That's it. Any questions? Thoughts? Comments? Concerns?
Who about the Nordic Center?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, I can't tell you yet, but a collective. They're not quite ready to announce, but they're like days away from
Great.
announcing. And it's gonna be incredible.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so awesome, so I'm gonna be promoting the heck out of that, but again, I can't until I can.
Okay.
But yeah, we have a press release ready.
Excellent. I'm glad the tie-in up around Sam just found the right folks.
Yeah, it's gonna be
100%.
Perfect folks.
great.
Keep it local.
Well, I think that would, yeah. That's what they wanted.